Hello and welcome. Today is July 27th, and this is etcd community meeting. We have pretty packed agenda, and the first topic is from me. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my effort on the Kubernetes side. The thing that I'm working on is fact that etcd gets a lot of slack for being inefficient or using a lot of memory. And the main reason for that is Kubernetes not utilizing etcd in fully and depending on, so basically someone puts 2 gigabytes of CRDs and then complains that 2 gigabytes of CRDs cannot be downloaded and they take a lot of memory. I mean, you could say it's bad. I would say it should not be allowed that someone can do that. So what I'm working on is first, I'm working on the contract, and here is the example contract. And second, I'm working on optimizing the contract. And the PR I've proposed is that some, let's say, or the contract codified, which is an interface that includes the minimal set of functions that are needed by Kubernetes to work on, to utilize etcd. And we want, and the reason we have this contract is twofold. One is Kubernetes has historically broke the contract, which basically means for Kubernetes Watch to work, each revision needs to be unique, but in etcd, it's not true. The reason that each revision is unique for Kubernetes is that it changes only one key in each transaction, or not one key. Yeah, Kubernetes changes only one key and then only makes one operation per transaction, but in etcd, you can make multiple operations. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, it's the fact that Watch only carries a single event, and the Watch protocol dictates. It's not that like Kubernetes could make transactions; it would just break the Watch protocol.
Yeah. So I mean how Kubernetes uses etcd both requires one revision, and Kubernetes uses it to have only one revision, one change per revision. And we found out that leases break this because you can create or assign thousands, or for Kubernetes events, you can have thousands of events per one lease. And then when this lease is expired, Kubernetes etcd deletes like 5,000 objects in one transaction. So TLDR etcd leases are Watch on etcd leases or on Kubernetes events, which is driven by leases, is broken. So we want to minimize the contract. And second part is optimizing the contract. I'm working on a cap that went to alpha in Kubernetes 128, which improves the performance immensely, and it's based on also on using this interface. So as we use this interface, we will be able to both find issues, prevent issues, optimize it, and test it much more frequently. So what is the ask? The ask is this interface. Kubernetes doesn't want to adapt this interface on Kubernetes side. Kubernetes wants etcd to adapt this interface to provide it to everyone and own the interface. By owning interface, we mean adding this interface to the client. So what I mean is etcd client is a set of interfaces as shown here. Etcd client is set of interfaces, and we would want to add this interface to etcd client, and this interface would be trivial implementation or wrapper over some transactions. But this interface, for example, will prevent or block, like will say this you shouldn't use leases, or in the future totally block leases because leases break the Kubernetes contract. Yeah, so the ask is, and the question is, can we adapt this or add this interface to etcd client? And then for Kubernetes to adopt this within like sensible time, we would need to backport this to 3.5. This is the proposal. I would want to like your feedback on that.
Yeah, this is Benjamin. Yeah, you know, the PR is for Kubernetes. Is there an issue or PR for etcd side?
No, I just wanted to read it before, like, because I'm proposing this to etcd to get like an early discussion, and then we will. I would want to optimize this contract or get more feedback from both sides, from Kubernetes sides and from etcd sides. For now, we are on we have only Kubernetes side PR. I can send after this meeting the etcd side.
Yeah. You know, my point is that we need to dig into the details to feedback to you later. Yeah, we cannot we cannot feedback in this meeting right now. Yeah, you know, after you raised an issue, summarize the impact on etcd, we will look into the issue of PR and get back to you based on the issue. Is that okay?
Sure. So I can summarize what I talk about into the PR and send the PR.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah.
Any other feedback?
Yeah. When you mentioned better performance, like, do you base that on some tests or?
Yes.
Benchmark, of course.
So if you go, where is it? The performance thingy is based on the KEP I'm working on, consistent list from cache. So the results,
because I think like if the performance is better, that's like a strong argument, you know.
It's not about interface. It's about like if we have a specific interface, we can
ensure the protocol guarantees. Yeah.
Yeah, we can make optimization, test it, and like be more bold into what changes. And because we can make optimization and introduce linearization checks on a Kubernetes side, and this, and I not. Before.
I guess that's okay. If you link it, I'll just.
So the result, like example results, are here. With consistent reads from cache, we get 2 to 10 times reduction in CPU and 20 to 50 reduction of the latency in Kubernetes side. And here is the table. I can give the link.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is like one example of trivial optimization. The code was, at the beginning, it was very trivial. We wanted to fix one case, but this is an example of if etcd would get watch cache and optimize the watch cache, the performance problems would disappear. The problem is that Kubernetes community is not sponsoring this work. Yeah.
Well, SIG etcd might.
Yes, SIG etcd might. Okay, that's all from me. Going to the next topic by Wenja.
Yeah, hi. So I want to propose this etcd mentorship program. This is just let you guys know there is this talk, and please help to provide your feedback. I know this community have a lot of people with community building experience, like Josh, James, Hong, and also like a lot of expertise. So we want to provide and as I mentioned, it's copied from a very successful SIG instrumentation program. I know people in this program grow from like never contribute to Kubernetes to maintainer and contribute big features in SIG instrumentation. So hopefully we can provide the right opportunity to the people who are interested and committed to the good, like valuable project, important tasks for both etcd and Kubernetes. Nate.
Hi, I just wanted to say this looks, I was reading this through this earlier, this looks great. I help run the mentorship program at the CNCF. Both Google Summer of Code, Season of Docs. We also support all sorts of LFX mentorship initiatives. And I just wanted to throw my hat in the ring. I would be more than happy to help with this initiative. This is great.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Let me share the access with you. And I am also working on 2 surveys, one for maintainer reviewers and active contributors who want to be the mentor, and another one for people who are interested to be joining the program and learn. So that will be out hopefully before the next meeting. But I just want to put this out, and people, you can, spread the word and take a look and let us know what you think. And let your colleagues know, family.
One thing as well, if we do join this with the CNCF, one of the things that we do to help get the word out is we use the CNCF LinkedIn, Twitter accounts, and all that sort of stuff to get awareness out, not just for trying to recruit mentees, but mentors as well. And Josh is very involved as well as a part of the TAG contributor strategy. You can get a lot of support here, I'm hoping.
Great, nice.
Right. Although, is this mentorship program, are we going to be more focused on up-leveling existing contributors, or trying to recruit new contributors? What's going to be the primary emphasis there?
What I think is, like, right now with our limited resource, will be great to, if people can, like, not only interested but also committed to spend certain amount of time each week, and probably already have some experience, that would probably going to be higher on our list, just because, like, we can't afford to have maintainers to spend too much time and only be able to see result in 2 years. We're not there yet. But collect interest is definitely good. Like, we can start with, like, helping some of the already active contributors, or somebody already have Kubernetes knowledges, and then once we have a stronger mentor community, then we can expand.
Yeah. So right now we'd be looking at existing etcd contributors and people who come to us and are like, hey, my boss says that I can spend 1 day a week working on etcd. How do I get started?
Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds like a good start for me. Open to suggestions other than that, though.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Just leave a comment here or on the doc. We'll let you know what's going on next.
Okay.
All right. That's it for me.
Okay. Han, do you want to?
I actually have a couple topics. Sorry, I only put one of them on there. First, I actually think it's important. Like, look, SIG etcd is happening. It's gotten approved by steering. We're just working out the details. I actually think it's important to have chairs to handle the paperwork. It is a lot of paperwork and bureaucratic nonsense, and I'm sure most people don't want to deal with it. And to that effect, I actually want to nominate a couple people for chairs. I'd like to nominate Wenja, since she has been a longtime member of the etcd community, and she has a lot of expertise in the etcd code base and even Kubernetes. So I think that makes a lot of sense. I also want to nominate James Blair, who has been quite active in the etcd community recently, and I think he could provide a lot of value in helping. We need more than one chair. I think, in fact, This SIG is substantially big enough, the code base is substantially big enough that it may make sense to have 3 chairs and 3 tech leads. I know we only have 2, but this is a non-trivial code base. And I think there are other SIGs. There are other SIGs that have actually like 4 chairs, in fact. So if anyone else is interested in being a chair, I think probably reach out to Merrick or something, and we can do like, I don't know, if no one has any objections, we can just do a passive thing. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. I don't know if people agree with me or disagree with me. If you disagree with me, now would be a great time to chime in.
Thank you for your nomination. If people are fine, I'm happy to help with the community. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, this is Benjamin.
Yeah,
Just one comment.
likewise, and
Yeah,
happy to help.
just one comment. Yeah, I think Wenjia and James are good candidates for me. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So now to the thing that I want to show you. I have
maybe just make sure to make it official, because like this is closed meeting.
Sure.
Can you
I will blast it out on the etcd Google group.
Yeah. Let's just make it official nomination and collect +1s and see.
Sure. Okay. So I don't know what you guys think about the existence of the Kind project, which is an alternative database for Kubernetes. But it exists, and it is primarily used with K3s, which is a lighter weight edge distribution of Kubernetes. It's a CNCF project. Personally, I think Kind is kind of a misguided attempt. And the reason why I believe this is, well, Kind basically implements an etcd wrapper around a database, right? And the thing is, etcd is already a wrapper around a database. Specifically, it is a wrapper around Bolt. So it is weird to me that you would take away the very thing, the elements that etcd is actually good at, right? And the things that etcd is good at and the things that etcd gives you, right, is it gives you HA, it gives you MVCC, because Bolt is not MVCC, right? It is just a key value store. So etcd implements MVCC on top of it. And the third thing it gives you is super fast watch propagation, right? So when you look at Kind, it basically does none of that. It has polling, it doesn't have HA. It takes all of the good things that etcd has built and just throws it away and implements a wrapper. So to me, but there is a need here. There's a reason why people have done this, right? And one of the reasons is etcd doesn't hold a lot of data, right? Like its default is 2 gigs. You can't really use it in a multi-tenant use case. So I have been working on a project. Let me share one of my screens. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. And this project has a code name. I call it eetcd. And basically what eetcd is extensible etcd. And the basic idea is to take all of the references to Bolt and to put it behind an interface. Because if you put Bolt behind an interface, then you can plug in a database, an arbitrary database, into etcd, and you get all of the goodness that etcd already has built for you, right? And so here I have some code where I've extracted out all the Bolt stuff, and I have put it behind this interface. And and in fact, doing all of this stuff, what is this? This is etcd. As you can see, I have all of the tests passing, despite ripping out all of the Bolt references and putting it behind an interface. I'm working on a second part of this, and I'm happy. So what I wanted to do was gauge the community interest in something like this, because I believe this would actually be great for the community, right? Like, this is like a future-looking project where we can make etcd extensible, capable of supporting multi-tenant properly. And like, once you support larger data sizes, then there's like tons of things that people are going to want from etcd, like priority and fairness, right? You're going to want tenant isolation. You're going to want all of these things that would make etcd a much richer, vibrant project that could be used outside of Kubernetes, right? And even in Kubernetes, the 6 GB limit or 2 GB limit is quite restricting. So if people are interested in this, I'm like happy to work with them, happy to upstream whatever it is, like as you can see the test path. I have a partially working version with SQLite instead of Bolt, and I have run benchmark tests against it, and it is fast. It is fast. However, it requires C in order to compile. So the GitHub Actions would have to be patched. I've been messing around with GitHub Actions in order to get the C compiler fast, because we're building on all sorts of different distributions. So cross-compiling is going to be kind of a pain, but this is a thought experiment, kind of a pet project, and I just wanted to share it with you and to see what people thought.
I think I have two questions. One is, I think we're mixing up two problems, right? Like, so one is tackling, in some sense, storage isolation that is multi-tenancy, as you mentioned, and then one is building an interface to kind of support different backends, right? I think those are the two problems we're trying to solve in this case. Is that true?
No, I am just trying to solve for larger data sets in etcd, and also to address like what the community finds attractive about Kind, right? And if you put like etcd behind SQLite or Postgres or whatever, then you get like the ability to query your database, right? Like, you can't really do that right now. You can run indexes against, like, most of the stuff is, yeah. So, I mean, we might have to change the wire protocol to make some of it more queryable, but as a SIG, I think this would be a discussion worth having if this was a direction that the community wanted to pursue.
If I understand correctly, that you're trying to tackle problem of bbolt being historically limited in size, even the biggest installations being around, I don't know, 8, 10, 20 gigabytes, and basically taking this limit and smashing it and going to 1 terabyte etcd data.
Exactly. Or even larger. You could even plug in Postgres, right?
Yeah, and when you have terabyte, of course, the limiting factor is network. So you basically you need to make sharding. So you need to support multi-tenant. Like multi-tenant is obvious at that point. So it motivates.
Yeah, it's an extension. Yeah, it's an extension of what would happen. I'm not addressing it as a problem. I'm saying once you do this thing, then multi-tenancy becomes an option. And people are going to want stuff like built on top of etcd, and this gives etcd like a mission. It gives etcd a purpose, like something that makes it like more usable for more people, because it is not satisfying all the use cases. Kind exists. It is proof that etcd is not satisfying people's use cases.
I think we need more time to discuss this. I think we're not gonna.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have link to the fork, Han? Do you want to?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely.
Like connect with people. So yeah, if you are interested in this project, talk with Han. overall, if you read like my proposals for etcd, definitely like multi-tenant is, or like 8 GB is a limiting factor. And I think we have survey results. We had a first glance. I had one glance at it, and 8 GB is the top thing that people are requesting. And I see like a lot of potential here. It's just question of when and how do we put it on our roadmap. But if like Han wants to support it and push it through, we can like plug it in somewhere.
I mean, it could also spin off into a separate repo. I'm pretty sure like people want this regardless, right? I mean, I would rather upstream it to etcd. And look, like the current implementation with the interface passes all of the robustness tests. I mean, we can do some performance testing there, but I doubt that there's significant.
I think like one sense to like get it out there, another sense was gonna be the first one to put it in production. So because changing the database, I mean it might lead to some kind of. I think like for example, when it was Bbolt, right? There was this bug about the free list that nobody really knew about, right? That kind of just popped up. So you just have to run it for some period of time. So somebody will have to to get to the stability to Bbolt, right?
I mean, this is same argument as Hind has. Like people want to run Postgres because it's more mature than etcd. Maybe we should not depend on Bbolt that we are developing itself when there is a SQL Lite or similar solutions that are much more mature than Bbolt. Like,
and another argument about Bolt is it was actually abandoned and we forked it, right? Like that actually happened. Like the original implementation is no longer being developed. It was forked. And so like how many Bolt experts are there? I mean, SQLite is a very popular database and is also extremely fast.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. So, but SQLite, I don't know if that's the right solution. I think we also need to then to find like a set of databases. So I think like the idea is that I just interface and you plug in something on your own, like whatever it is. That's kind of difficult to give like, as a product to people. You have to then say, okay, it's a SQLite or it's a Postgres or it's a Rock, which is Badger, RocksDB, right? Like there were, I think over the years, multiple attempts were to change the backend, right? Which is fine, but
I mean, just to clarify, it's just a flag. Like you just set the flag. I don't want Bbolt. I want something else. And external from custom for users, there is no difference. There is a DB file on the disk and the DB file, and what you need to support is like the hard things is support of etcd snapshotting. So for members, snapshots, so hybrid clusters. But if you solve for hybrid clusters, you're done. And if you solve for migration, you're done. You just need to implement migration or on initialization, and you need to implement migration between or compatibility for snapshots for members to set and snapshots.
Yeah, I mean, I'm supportive of this, and like I think we proposed at some point, like trying to change to the Badger and the like universal snapshot format. So that's all goes into this direction. But I'm just saying that maybe it will be useful to set on like a officially supported backend then, right? And because one thing is to abstract away the backend, another thing to like actually run in production and like see what are the who's going to run what. So anyway,
I need to drop.
Yeah, productionizing. Yeah, so we are out of time. We got through half of the topics. I will be moving the topics to the next meeting. That will be soon because we have now meetings every 2 weeks. So thanks. Like we got more topics, but we also have more time to talk. So thanks everyone for attending, and see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, bye.
See you.